Welcome. You have reached review time with Imperial, and today's recap is House of the Dragon, Season 2, Episode 8, the season finale. Subscribe to the channel, like the video. Let's get into it. So this was a good episode. However, they did deviate from the book. And forewarning, this will be some spoilers. And if you know this channel by now, that's what I provide on this channel. Spoilers, recaps, reviews, whatever you want to call it. However, let's get into this. So it starts off with Tyrion Lannister, the master of ships for King's Landing, is I said the master of ships for King's Landing, the master of ships for Castle Rock, and he's Prince of Regent has sent him out to get ships and crews together so that they can flee and fight Sea Snake, and so they kind of agree if he gave up the stepstones. He said the Prince of Regent to have his head for this, but they said basically with all of us joining forces, after you wipe out the sea snake, you'll be able to sit on the Iron Throne yourself. And now they said, however, you gotta get the commander Lohar to agree to sail with you. And he like, all right, well, who's this commander? And it's a female. And he pretty much, thinking she, like could be a soft female, but she's tough as nails. And she pretty much said, you're a skinny, scrawny guy. I don't respect you. And then she was like, I'll best you. And he like, well, best you in what? And then it shows them fighting in a pit of mud later on. And he's not a fighter, so she's dusting him at first, and then he shows some of his man strength, pretty much punched her in the stomach, knocked on her butt, and then back punched her, and then she liked that, and that kind of earned her respect for him. So also what happens from she eventually agreed to sail with him. So went to King's Landing. It shows Aegon asking the Grand Maester for some rum. He gave him some. Larry Strong shows up. He leaves. Larry Strong's pretty much telling him that, hey, Aegon, we need to get out of here. He like, what do you mean we need to get out of here? And I'm not going nowhere. He's pretty much telling him like, Prince Regent, he's upset that Rhaenyra has dragons and he's on a rampage. He just destroyed a village in Small Point and he's going to kill you. And so Aegon pretty much like, hey, listen, I want y'all carry me to the throne so I can sit and I have him killed. Since he's going mad, Larry Strong pretty much said, yeah, even if you do that, what's going to happen when, or you take over, what's going to happen without Vagar? He pretty much said, well, Rhaenyra pretty much, she has dragons, more dragons than you. They're going to take over, what's going to happen? So he pretty much told Aegon, well, you need to flee. And I got money saved up. We'll go somewhere in Essos. You'll heal, and then you'll come back. And then he's like, you'll be Aegon the Rebuilder. Aegon, he kept saying all these things, like trying to convince him. And then Aegon finished it by, I'll be Aegon the Realm Delight. Like he'd be beloved or whatever. So he finally convinced Aegon, we need to go. So we've seen a lot of this stuff play out from the book or whatever, and you've seen it happen in person. So in the book, it kind of happens similar. So from there, it shows Off and Hugh the Hammer and sitting at the table. But Off is, you already see, if you know from the books already, what's supposed to happen with both of them. But you see Off from the gate is he's small folk now in the big leagues. He don't have no um honor. How you supposed to keep yourself? He's rude, drinking. He don't care nothing about this. He feeling himself because he got a powerful dragon behind him, and he could pretty much. He don't have to. He gonna follow suit so he gets some riches, but he pretty much like, man, I could go off on my own. Let me see what it's hit for. So Jace is not feeling that. Jace is like, nah, man, listen, basically you scum, you need to follow suit, you know, you're rude, so he's getting at him, but the Hammer's pretty much, he was like, hey man, like, don't mind him, because Hugh kind of is being stand up or whatever. So I think really by right, Hugh is Rhaenyra. He's cousins to uh Damon, and he like first cousins to Damon and Viserys. So he just would be a cousin to Rhaenyra or whatever. So it goes from that scene, then it jumps to uh Lord Corlys talking to Rhaenyra, and they breaking down strategy and everything. Pretty much before they set sail for the war, he pretty much Sea Snake was his last ship. The new ship is called the Princess, the Queen That Never Was, in reference to his wife. He's telling Rhaenyra, listen, you can't win this war off of peace. You have to strike fast, and make your presence known. That's the only way they're gonna respect you. So he's telling her she has to get her hands dirty. Yeah, she has to get going, and she was just hoping that because if Aemon and everybody found out she had more dragons, that they would just put their knives down, bend the knee to her, and basically say we don't want no fight. That's not what happened. That's going to make them challenge them more. So um, it shows Sir Alfred, who she sent a few episodes back to go over to Harrenhal, see what Damon is up to. So when he gets there, he pretty much is on his snake mission, telling her like, I served your brother, and I just honored what he had for Rhaenyra, but he don't really believe in Rhaenyra. He's telling Damon, look, pretty much, I believe in you, and these men is all following you right now, and pretty much uh, they're following you, and the people need a king now. So they went into the spiritual place that's supposed to be where nobody's around, and this is where Sir Alfred is telling us, when he walks into the area, he hears a voice that says traitor. He said, did you hear something? So we don't know if it's that witch lady or whatever, but um that's what he hears. And then Damon's like, man, you be at these places, basically you hear all types of stuff or whatever. So if you know from the book, Sir Alfred was a traitor to Rhaenyra's cause, and they already showing it here. So it'd be interesting if they could really change some things for the book, but they kind of stay in the course of the book, so the storyline still shows up the same. But they can deviate some things, because on here, Aegon, when he was in the bed, he said Sunfire was dead. But in the book, we know Sunfire was severely wounded, but not dead. So maybe he might think Sunfire is dead, and when he goes wherever, Sunfire is going to sense he's still alive, moving, and Sunfire is going to appear. But that's so we're gonna see how that play out too, because that is Sunfire being alive is significant. So nevertheless, Prince Damon, uh, while he was talking to Sir Alfred, Prince Damon's, I forgot what his Sir whatever, the short old fat guy, I forgot what his name was. He was he'd be spying and ear hustling. So pretty much what he did was he sent a message to Rhaenyra that there's a traitor here. He's sensing treachery. He didn't. I don't think he exactly said who, but he's saying I'm sensing treachery. So she jumped on when she was having dinner with uh, Adam Hoff, and Hammer and Jace. She got a message from Hall basically saying what's going on. She pretty much at this dinner asked Adam to take a ride with her because he's more seasoned at this point. She pretty much told Hammer and Off that in 2 days learn your dragons, take some courses because we going into battle. And she said she had hope that she wouldn't have to put them in battle, but you know it's pressing needs. So basically, Off was like, "Well, what we get out of the deal?" And so she was like, "Well, we'll make y'all knights." And then he was like, "Just like that, you could make us knights. Well, you better get to make us a knight then." Or whatever. So in the book, how does that deviate from the book? So what happens is they was promised some things, and their those things that they was promised wasn't fulfilled. Rhaenyra pretty much looked at them as exactly who they were. So Jace did step in, told Off like I have you killed pretty much, but Rhaenyra's pretty much in the book. She doesn't look at them as like y'all wasn't brought up on a royalty, so y'all really don't know the ways of how this all works. So when like Hugh the Hammer, he wants one of those castles so he can start his own thing and be his own king. She's going to deny him of that, and when she denies him of that, that's what's going to make him turn and say, "All right, well, what I'm fighting for your cause for, or whatever." But in good right, she was saying, y'all don't know it. What do you know about running a castle, basically running your own city and all that? What do you know about doing that? And then all of a sudden we just gonna give you all that, and so you can mess it up, do whatever, just because you got a dragon. So on one hand she was right, but on the other hand, this is what she opened herself up to by bringing in people that don't know the way. So it from there, from that scene, it flips to Allison speaking to Helena, telling Helena like, "Hey, listen, um, like." She asking her why do they hate us, and Allison pretty much say, uh, "How about we just leave? Like we can escape, we can leave, get away from here, start fresh somewhere else. Me, you, and the baby, pretty what the young one." And so Eamon comes in. He pretty much asking Helena, "Listen, duty calls. We need you to jump on Dreamfire, and we need you to go to war and fight." Now she's not a fighter, but she do got a dragon. She's not a fighter. He want her to jump in the war and fight, and she's not a fighter or whatever. But her dragon Dreamfire is a beast dragon though. So her dragon is one of the dragons that do survive through the dance of the dragons, but um, you know, he's trying to get her to fight. So Allison jumped in him. He grabbed her pretty much like, "Let's go." And Allison jumped in and like, "No, it's not going down there like that, Eamon. Like, stop." Like, pretty much telling her, "Stop. Like, get out of here. Like, chill." And he paused and listened and walked off. Then it went to Sir Kristen Cole and Allison's brother. He pulled a knife to Sir Kristen Cole, pretty much telling him, like, "I know you've been sleeping with my sister. Like, which, how dare you? You're supposed to, be carrying yourself a certain way. Basically, the knights ain't really supposed to be dipping, you know. But, of course, they do. And especially he's dipping with the queen. And he pretty much said, yo, he got shame. He shames himself. And he pretty much told Allison's brother, we're marching to our annihilation. And then when he hit him like that, like basically I'm accepting my fate that I'm gonna be dead. When he said it like that, he's already the look on Allison's brother's face is like, I'm thinking we gonna live through this. What you mean? What you know, son? I don't know. And it made him reflect, like, yo, we are marching to our death, huh? So it's just self reflection, but they're warriors, so they just still gonna go with it. Because what if we do survive it, that type of situation? So that was a brief little story, but yeah, we all know Sir Kristen Cole's story, how that works out. And so um, after Commander Laura accepts Tyland Lannister, they have a big dinner at night, and she comes off to him like she a woman, and she's tough, but you can tell she's fond of him. So finally, she asks him. So you think she gonna ask him like, "Listen, I want you to sleep with me." So she pretty much told him, "I want you to like bear children," and he's thinking she's talking about with her. She was like, "No, with my wives," and he looked at her like, "What? Well, how many wives you got?" Like he like, "Homegirl, have a ball with this situation." So shout out to Thailand. Uh, he great have a ball with that situation. And so from there, it shows a scene, and this is a key scene with uh, Damon. You think he could have a dream, but he wakes up and the witch is standing over top of him. And he was like, "Don't you ever sleep, witch?" So she basically told him, "Listen, I'm going to go to the Godswood tree. You want to come with me?" So as he's coming to the Godswood tree, he sees something like growling. He hears something growling or whatever, and he gets to the tree. The tree is bleeding or whatever it's doing. He puts his hand on it, and so what he does, she pretty much said, "You earned the right to see what's gonna happen, so you pretty much will know what's gonna happen, what play a part." So when he puts his hand on the godwood tree, it shows him everything. So it shows him Daenerys in the future with the three dragons. It shows him out. It shows him Rhaenyra sitting on the throne. It also shows him. It's either him or Aemon falling in the water. So this is where I said this is the spoilers, and it's because so you can understand what he was seeing in this sequence through the God's tree with him seeing everything is he sees uh we all know from the book that he kills Aemon when Caraxes and Vagar is he sends a word for Damon to meet him for Aemon to meet him to fight. Aemon doesn't show up for 2 weeks. Eventually he shows up, and they pretty much shoot up in the sky to fight each other. And Damon pretty much he never lock. You know how you lock into your dragon, and so that you have balance and you don't fall off. He doesn't lock in. So when Caraxes and Vagar clash with each other, Damon jumps off with his knife, sister, whatever that knife is called, and stabs Aemon in his other eye, and the knife went through his head. And then they both fell out the sky, and Damon plunges into the river, and no one ever see him after that. So he sees himself drowning in water. And also, he's seen the Night King and his in the God's wood. So he's seen everything, and basically he been having them visions what he's supposed to do for his brother. Basically telling him, "Listen, your part in this war situation is just to bend the knee and support Rhaenyra." And so while he was in his God's eye, Helena comes in there and basically say, "Your part in this story is X, Y, and Z. It's time for you to play your part." So we all know Helena could see dream sequences and visions, and it shows the three-eyed raven in here as well. So, Helena pretty much told him, your part. Basically, it's time to do it. And he steps off. So this is like his uh, awakening. And they pretty much say, you know what you must do. And when, by him saying, you know what you must do, Ben and Nita are there and support her. So this could play out. Meanwhile, back at King's Landing, Helena's looking over a balcony. This balcony sequence is foreshadowing Helena, how she dies off of supposed to be suicide, but really they saying it's stories that somebody pushed her off. But it's showing her over this balcony. It's also in the balcony. You see there's an opening right there. Why is it open like that on the balcony? Just foreshadowing that's how she died. And Eamon is basically coming, telling her, listen, we need to hit the Harren Hall, and you and Dreamfire, we can waste Damon's army. So she tells him, if I refuse, are you going to burn me like you did Aegon? He like, what you talking about? And she pretty much said, you burned Aegon and you let him fall. And he said, that's lies. She said, no, I saw it. She could see the visions. So he pretty much told her, yo, what you saying is treason. I can have you locked up. And she pretty much told him Aegon will be king again. And he's yet to see his victory or whatever. And basically told him, you sit on a wooden throne. You don't sit on an iron throne. She pretty much told him that you'll never sit on the throne, and you'll die. You'll be swallowed up in a guy's eye. That's the water, and never to be seen again. So she foreshadowed and told him his whole storyline, that you're gonna die. You're gonna be swallowed up in the guy's eye, never to be seen again. So that's serious for somebody to tell you your fate like that. And she said whatever, and he just paused. He knows fate, and it's either him to try to stop his fate or embrace it. So this is another thing I want to point out. So when Rhaenyra asked Adam, told him to go with her, they're heading to Harren Hall to approach Daemon. So it shows Syrax and Sea Smoke approaching Harren Hall, and the men is seeing the dragons approach. So when the dragons was approaching, Caraxes notices them in a distance coming, right? Just like if you got a pet dog, whatever, they sense when somebody is near, and they pretty much can like bark or whatever. So Caraxes seen them or whatever, but of course they all come from Dragonstone, so they all cool with each other in a sense. So he don't really he just makes the noise to acknowledge them. Now, what I didn't understand, it made me think back to when Meleys and Princess Rhaenyra was flying over the battlefield, and it showed Rhaegar when she flew over the castle. Rhaegar just came up out of nowhere and got a hold of Meleys' neck. Why didn't Meleys sense that Rhaegar was around or another dragon was around? That's the part that didn't hope or deviate or whatever. That's just how did she get caught up? I mean, it can happen, but I'm just saying, I always thought of that, and it made me think of that more when I seen this scene. So Rhaenyra, she walks in where all the men is standing in this courtyard place. And so Daemon, of course, remember earlier in this season, the castle was in shambles. So what was hard about this scene, when Rhaenyra walked in, this Harren Hall, big hall area where all the men is standing, has an opening for the outside. So when Rhaenyra walked in and stand in front of everybody, uh, Cyrax came in where the opening was and stood over top of all the men. So basically, at this point, is they acted a fool. Cyrax could uh, release on all the men. So Damon comes from the back and pretty much walks up the middle. You know, he got his stroll. All the men is sworn to him. So him and Rhaenyra's having their one-on-one. He pretty much sent telling her he seen some things in a vision or the God's tree. He didn't give her the full detail, but basically said I seen some things that's coming for us, and there's no stopping it. And he starts speaking in Valerian to her so that the rest of the people wouldn't hear him. He pretty much at the end said, you know, your dad, my brother, made you the heir, and so he made you the heir, and I'm going to honor it. And he gonna bend the knee. So he bend the knee. Pretty much once he bend the knee, all the rest of the men bended the knee. Sir Alfred was in there looking stupid, and from there, everybody, Sir Alfred, when Damon was giving everybody a chant, like for every man we that die or fall, 1,000 of their men going, 100 of their men going die. So he pretty much stood firm on that. And Sir Alfred kind of dipped through the shadows. We all know in the books is Sir Alfred disappear. He embraces when Rhaenyra takes over King's Landing, and Aegon the Second disappears. He end up retreats to Dragonstone. Sir Alfred takes the men and pretty much rallies behind Aegon II. So when Rhaenyra things fall apart at King's Landing, she comes back to Dragonstone thinking this is my castle or whatever. I still got my people here. King Aegon is already there. And that's leads to her demise. Spoiler. So from there, let's back to uh, Lord Corlys is about to set stale. He pretty much had his talk with Alan, his other son, pretty much telling him like, hey man, I'm giving you an opportunity here, but the men don't think you like a great leader. And basically he telling him you should be grateful. Alan finally spoke up for himself and pretty much bashed him like, man, we was peasants. We sons to you, but you ain't never acknowledged us till now since your other two kids by royalty passed away. Now you look to us. So I wonder how that's gonna play out because he did Lord Corlys in the books had those kids made them um like the heirs or whatever. So Alan and them were supposed to be the heirs to Driftmark or whatever. Because Alan, he said he see Salt and Sea or whatever. So this whole episode was showing Rhaena looking for the dragon that's rogue. And we all know this dragon is Sheep Stealer. So from time to time, you see her just keep running, trying to desperate and running out of water, life, and she's determined to find sea smoke. So it shows Rhaenyra speaking with Mysaria, and Mysaria pretty much telling her, listen, it's not going to be a war that you going to win without hurting some casualties. So this is what hurts Rhaenyra too, because this all the small folk and innocent people that got hurt in the process of this. So when Rhaenyra sleep, someone makes her up in the middle of the night, and it's Allison. The same way Rhaenyra showed up to talk to Allison, Rhaenyra shows up to Dragonstone to talk to her, pretty much telling her, listen, I made a mistake. You know, this was a good scene, good back and forth, but in a nutshell, I'm paraphrasing, she's learned the error of her ways, but she's looking for a way that they can reconcile. And basically saying her daughter, her grandson, they gonna flee. And Rhaenyra pretty much tell her, see, you trying to get away with stuff, and now that you know you see the damage is done, and but I can't. What about Aegon? And she's pretty much said he's burned, he's hurt, and he's out of commission. Rhaenyra's pretty much saying, listen, I can't. The people has to see that I can't just let Aegon go like that. I gotta kill Aegon. The people need to see it so they can respect that I am the next. I am the true uh, heir. So, you know, Rhaenyra said her son for a son. So Alicent was in pain and basically was. She never really fully agreed to it. She just kind of like said like, like we got to get this over with. Give us 3 days or whatever. So this back and forth took some time between the two of them. And now this is how the episode ends. So what the episode ends with, it's showing you a bunch of different parts, but you don't know how all this is playing out in sequence. And you don't know what's what. It's making it seem like all this is going, but it's playing out a part. So what it show Otto Hightower in a jail cell, and somebody comes spread the light on him. So you don't even. It makes you like, well, what happened to Otto Hightower? How did he end up in jail? Then it shows Laird Strong and King Aegon II getting away in a carriage somewhere. So shows that part. All right. Then it just shows Alicent keep walking with her hood, and then she eventually walks over to looking over the castle. Then it shows Prince Daemon walking down, looking at all his fleet of soldiers, but he in his battle suit. But then it also shows all the men, the Lannisters, and all the men marching towards Harrenhal. When it shows Prince Daemon looking at his fleet, it looks like they're all just sitting at Harrenhal, and all these men is marching to them. So I thought at least by the end of this season they would show how this plays out the end of the season, since we're not gonna get season 3 until 2026. So it kind of sucks that it's taking them 2 years to give a season. This should be year to year or whatever. It shouldn't take 2 years to get a whole new season and stuff, but that's how they play out and make their money. So therefore, I'm not going to do another speak on this, so that's why I'm throwing all the spoilers. So in the books, what happens is, while Sir Kristen Cole and Aemon and all of them are going to Harrenhal to fight Daemon has his people flee, go a whole nother. He has his people, since King's Landing is unguarded. So Alicent, this is another thing. Alicent, with the back and forth, she's given a plan. Listen, come in three days. Aiming to be gone. Nobody be there to protect. But the gold cloaks they always stay at the castle. Nobody be there to protect the castle. You come in. We'll open the gates. Let you come in. Nobody gets hurt. We'll tell everybody put their weapons down, and you take over the reign of the throne. Nobody gets killed, and you just pit everybody to cease the war. So she's pitting out the plan, when in the books it was Daemon and Rhaenyra coming up with the plan. Basically, would make them think they're gonna all meet us at Harrenhal to do this battle. We're gonna let Aemon come in over in Harrenhal. Meanwhile, while he's there, we're gonna fly all the dragons over to King's Landing, and we seize in the castle. When they come in and seize the castle, they imprison Alicent and Helena. They don't get to get a. That wasn't even a thought. They was caught off guard with that. But they switching it up from the book, making it like Alicent had the plan or whatever, and then so that is a good turn if they make it like that. But in the book, they didn't know they was coming, and Rhaenyra came, hit them where they didn't know it was coming, and locked Alicent up. Otto Hightower, he showed back up because he was supposed to be the the hand to Prince Regent Aemon, and they lock him up too, but they kill him up. So maybe this is showing, because you're looking at, well, how Otto Hightower, how was he locked up? Because that's what happens in the book. He was locked up, and then they kill him because he started a lot of this. And just when Rhaenyra showed up, that's when King Aegon, Lord Strong, helped him slip away or whatever. He helped him slip away, but he still kind of stayed there. He didn't leave. He let King Aegon slip away on his own or whatever. Because Larry Strong, he lives for some time. He lives through all this in the books, and so, but it shows him in the carriage with King Aegon. So that part seems to be playing out, and then it showed Tywin Lannister, the master of the ships for Castle Rock. It shows him on a fleet, on water, getting ready for war. So that war becomes significant for the battle, but also this is where Chase will lose his life in the battle on the seas as well. So it finally showed Rhaenyra. She finally finds the dragon sheep stealer at the end of the episode. She finally finds him, and it shows him just roaring at her, and she's just looking at him, but she determined, like, yo, you gonna be my dragon. So when they gave her the storyline with that scene of a character in the books named Nettles that was feeding the dragon sheep stealer until the dragon finally just warmed up to her and she became a dragon rider. But she took her dragon, she pretty much just went off. So it's gonna be interesting how they make Rhaenyra contribute to the war, or what does she contribute with now that she has a dragon or whatever. So overall, decent episode. I did throw some spoilers in here, and we're gonna see how it play out in 2 years. When it airs back in 2026. Subscribe to the channel, like the video. If you care to leave a comment, tell me what you thought about the episode. Till next time.